Vitamin Water was born in New York because New Yorkers wanted more. Like more flavor to go with all the flavor. A refreshing drink after climbing 6 flights of stairs to a walk-up apartment or standing in the subway station in 100-degree heat. Focus when I have an 8-hour shift. And XXX after I was out all night at a club called XXX. Drink Vitamin Water. It's from New York.
British Spy Stories Season 4 Double Agent Episode 20. A taxi turns onto the side road and draws to a halt outside Oskar Zetkin's house, on the rising land outside Zurich. A triangle of birds flies southwards over the city as Rose pays the driver and steps out onto the pavement. Outside a pair of large gates, she presses the bell push set into the stone. A buzzing sound announces that the gates have been unlocked remotely. Zetkin is standing in the vast doorway of his home, with a cut-glass tumbler in his hand, as Rose appears and walks across the grass to him. He kisses her on both cheeks and leads her into the warmth of the house, then down a corridor, stopping to point out some of the artworks on the walls. They reach a covered veranda that runs across the entire back of the home, and talk about the view and the city and her journey, while he pours gin and tonics. After the polite conversation has petered out, Zetkin says, "Tell me what happened, Rose." She relates what she's found about the events of the night that his boys were arrested in Suffolk. "Someone talked," he says calmly. "What do you mean?" "They must have known we were there. The authorities must be tracking our movements. There's no other logical explanation." Rose drinks some gin. "It was just unlucky," she says. "Nosy neighbours, apparently." Zetkin shakes his head. "I took the opportunity to talk to a contact of mine in the British police." She can feel her heart start to beat a little faster. "He said that the local officers were only called to the house after our men had been captured. He read me the incident report. It does mention the 2 neighbours who were there, but it doesn't give their names. That's what made me suspicious. These 2 civilians, apparently, overpowered our boys." He drinks a mouthful of alcohol. "I can find out more," she says. "It has to have been either police special branch or an MI5 operation." "Are we that important?" She watches his face for a reaction, but his features remain fixed. "Another of my friends in London has been talking to me," he says. "Is there anything you want to tell me, Rose?" "What do you mean?" "The picture of Webster and the girl that you were getting from Gavin Masters." "What about it?" "Have you got it?" He is a masterclass of calm. "Not yet," she lies. Rose can feel the heat on her body rising. "You shouldn't lie to me, Rose." She is silent. "You see, I have a technical guy who helps me. He can get into any storage device and download the files from them, including phones, Rose, including your phone." She wants to talk, but can't think what to say. She swallows, and it feels painful. "The girl in the photo is MI5, Rose, isn't she?" "Yes." "So you know that our operation in the UK is under surveillance?" "No, that's wrong. MI5 could have been watching Webster. He did leak to us, but they'll want to stop the leaker, rather than try to find out who bought the information." "I hope you're right." The sudden speed of his movement surprises her. He raises his arm and brings one hand to her throat. His fingers curl over her skin, and he pushes onto her windpipe. His face is close to hers now. "I'll sort it out, Oskar," she says quietly, not daring to look away from his gaze. "If our network is blown, I need you to clean up. Everyone in London who knows about us. I want no stone unturned, no person left alive who can talk." Her lower lip is shaking. His voice is barely audible now. "Then, and only then, will I not send someone to kill you." Hans is dropped off by taxi at the safe house in Zurich after flying back from Berlin. He and Gabby eat in the sunroom at the side of the house. Then she refills their wine glasses and sits back in her chair. "Debrief me on Berlin, Gordon." "Two big things," he says. "Firstly, my contact in the Berlin police confirmed to me that Fevrier was a traitor. They knew he was spying on Germany." He pauses for a response, but she remains quiet. "My bloke didn't seem to know that Fevrier was also an active German spy, so he thinks he was just a plain old traitor. Of course, we know that makes him a double agent." Gabby checks on how much Hans knows. "Working for who else apart from Germany?" "They don't know." She breathes out silently. "They're investigating," says Hans. "But the police will have to hand it to the German BFV spies, I guess." "Do they still think Meyer killed him?" "This is where it gets very interesting. They talked to Interpol and ran some searches for associates of Meyer Lorenz on their database." "And what did they find?" "There's only one record on the Interpol system that mentions Meyer, and that record belongs to a man called Karl Baumann." "Don't know him," she says. "I checked his photo," says Hans. He pauses for dramatic effect. "Karl Baumann is David." "Fuck," she says softly. They sit in silence for 10 seconds. She looks up through the glass roof at the rolling night and the black clouds above their heads. "Why is he on their system?" "Drugs. He is suspected of being part of an organised crime group, but they have no hard evidence. He's good at covering his tracks." "Now we know why Zetkin wanted him dead," she says. "I didn't tell my man in the Berlin police I recognised David when he showed me the picture, just so we keep our options open." She nods. "Yeah, good, thank you, Gordon." "What are we going to do, Gab?" She opens her eyes wide to think, then says, "We still don't know who killed Vincent. In my mind, Meyer is looking more likely now. With her criminal contacts, she could have more to hide. But David is more of our immediate problem." "What about Kate?" he says. They both look glum. "I'll go and see her tomorrow." Arno sits in a cafe on St. Peterstrasse, in the middle of Zurich, with the remains of a burger and fries on the table in front of him. He checks his watch. He has 3 hours before he is due to the airport to catch his flight back to Frankfurt. He's away too much, he knows. His children miss him. They tell him that without prompting. Before this job, he worked nearer home and didn't travel internationally so much, so he could be back before their bedtime. Now he only sees them at weekends, up before they wake, and gone, then not home until late. His wife understands him, but the kids will all grow up one day, and he'll have missed this part of their life. Arno decides to see if there are any things he can buy for them before getting his taxi out to the airport. He pulls on his overcoat and pushes out into the chill of the November air. He walks back to the main shopping area and looks in the windows. He finds one present that he knows his eldest will love. As he is waiting for the lights to change so he can cross over to the other side of Bahnhofstrasse and find something for his youngest child, a woman stands beside him.
"Arno,"
she says. At first he doesn't register that it's him that she's talking to.
"Arno."
She is more insistent this time. He turns his head, looking suspicious. She has black hair stuffed into a woolen hat and is wearing a short black winter coat. In her hand, there's a gun pointing at him, covered by a scarf. He sees the weapon immediately, then raises his eyes to her face, but he doesn't say anything.
"Come this way,"
she says, nodding her head to one side along the street. He moves slowly. She takes up a position by his side and weaves her arm into his. He can feel the gun now, pushing into the side of his torso. They walk on for a minute, then she says,
"Up here."
He feels her body press against his, guiding him up a narrow alleyway. The woman tugs at his arm to stop when they're halfway along the alley, and he twists towards her, so they are face to face.
"Who are you?"
he says. She smiles.
"What we're going to do, Arno, is go and visit your friends on Gutestrasse."
"The police station?" His face scrunches up.
"Why?" "They've got something I need, and you're going to help me get it."
"What do you need?" She puts her finger to her lips.
"That's my secret. We'll go back to the street in a minute, and you'll hail a cab to take us to Gutestrasse. Okay?"
He frowns.
"Okay?"
she repeats. "I need to know what's going to happen."
"You'll ask for Lieutenant Faber, who you already know, don't you?"
Arno nods. "How do you know that?"
"You're going to say that I'm Elsa Meyer,"
she says.
"and I've just started working for you, heading up one of your teams in Friedrich Andersen. You're giving me a tour of the various people and security arrangements who we work with. Faber is your main contact for the Zurich police, hence you're introducing me to him."
"I don't understand," says Arno.
"There's more."
Her voice is flat, devoid of any emotion.
"After a while, I'm going to need to go to the bathroom, while you keep Faber chatting."
Arno listens intently.
"I'll return and we'll leave. That's it."
"Why?" She ignores the question.
"Do you understand what you need to do?"
"Why would I do this?" The woman pushes her hand into her bag and pulls out a sheet of paper.
"Look."
She hands it to Arno.
"This is a picture of your lovely children, taken yesterday. It's so important to keep them safe, isn't it?"
He frowns more.
"You wouldn't. They love their daddy, don't they?"
Her eyes are locked on his. "How can I trust you?" he says.
"You can't."
She smiles briefly. Then it rolls away, and she is serious again.
"Just do as I say, and I'll disappear."
She nods back down the alleyway to the street. The Gutestrasse headquarters of Zurich's Criminal Investigations Department is an enormous grey block with rows of regular windows stretching along for 100 yards and up for 5 stories. The taxi drops them off at the entrance. Arno leads them inside and asks for Lieutenant Faber at the reception desk. They are shown to seats to one side of the doors and sit in silence while Faber is found. After 10 minutes, a man comes through the security gates, who is large in every way. He is tall and wide, and has large hands and a booming voice. Arno apologizes for the surprise visit, but he is keen to introduce Faber to Fräulein Meyer before they leave Zurich. Faber is welcoming and wants to share his expertise. The three of them go up to a meeting room on the 3rd floor. The windows to the room overlook the vast array of criss-crossing railway lines at the back of the building, beyond the police car park. Trains are constantly weaving their way across the maze of metal rails to find their destination. Fräulein Meyer is very interested in everything that Faber has to say. They talk for half an hour before she asks if she can use the bathroom. The lieutenant shows her where it is and walks back to the room where they left Arno to continue their conversation. She goes inside one of the cubicles and delves again into her bag. This time, her fingers extract a folded document, which she opens and studies. It shows the floor plan of the police headquarters. She locates where she needs to go and moves back out to the corridor. The locked police evidence room is 1 floor below. Meyer pushes the door to the stairwell and hurries down, pulling on blue plastic gloves as she navigates the steps. The room is on the right-hand side with a numerical lock on the door to keep out unwelcome guests. She types in 4 numbers to a screen on the wall, and the door clicks open. Inside, there are rows of white metal shelves holding dozens of plastic bags, all tied and sealed, with a reference label secured at the neck of each bag. Meyer dashes along the shelving, looking for the bags that have the case number 60342-6 on them. She locates the labels with references starting with a 6 and starts to explore more carefully from then on. At the bottom shelf in the far corner, Meyer finds what she needs. She brings a pair of wire cutters from her pocket and snips the seal away. She grabs the mobile phone from the bag and puts it in her back pocket, then seals the bag again, so it looks like it hasn't been tampered with. She knows that by the time anyone notices, it'll be too late for them to do anything about it. Meyer runs out and back up the stairs, then rejoins Arno and the lieutenant, who are talking about the current trials of new Swiss policing methods. She smiles to the men, and they talk on for another 10 minutes. Then Arno gets the message from her body language that they need to go. He says that they should start their journey now to get to the airport in time for their flight. The policewoman on reception calls a taxi for them, and it appears within 5 minutes. Arno and Meyer climb inside. "Is that it?" he says, once they have pulled away from the police station and are back on the road. She turns to him and nods. "Yes." "What now?" Meyer leans forward to the driver. "Can you drop me on the next corner, please? My colleague is staying with you." The vehicle stops by the curb. "Goodbye, Arno," she says. Meyer pulls the door handle and gets out into the Zurich dusk, and the taxi pulls away towards the airport.